Hello everybody, my name's Pookzta here, and today we're back with a brand new video. We are back with another third channel video where today, instead of going through my wish list of the buffs, the nerfs I would like to come to Dead by Daylight, we're going to do something that everyone's done before, if you've seen it with Dead by Daylight YouTubers, going over my dream DBD licenses, what I would want to come to Dead by Daylight. Now obviously, if I played this game before Springtrap came out, I would have obviously said Five Nights at Freddy's, Springtrap as a killer and stuff. But you know, that's come and gone, and after I've gotten into the game more, I realised that there's a lot of licenses that I would love to come to Dead by Daylight, that I would love to be able to play P100 and all that stuff. So I thought we'd go through it today. Now this is kind of like, I'm not just going to do like a ranking of like 1 to 10 and stuff like that. This is meant to be like a thing I saw on Reddit where people had like different sections and stuff for what, I'll try and find an image up on screen, but where people had like different sections for what they wanted their license to come from. So there's stuff like classic movies, modern movies, like 2000s, like 2010 plus, classic movies, pre-2010s, modern video games, classic video games, anime, what sequel chapters I'd love to see, non-horror. So I looked at a few of them and I took stuff from them and I put it into my own sort of list. So I'll throw up screen now what different sections we are going to talk about. And yeah, I decided to get this done today. I did mention it in the wishlist video for balance changes I want to see come to Dead by Daylight, that I will be making another video just before the 10-year anniversary. You know, because I think this is a good time where I can make this sort of video in between like the 10-year anniversary and stuff, before we get the reveal of what the next anniversary chapter is going to be, what licensed content and original contents after that and stuff. Yeah, that's basically everything really. So I've got the list I'm going to go through. I'm doing this video before the 10-year anniversary, which actually they did release the May roadmap, and we should be getting a reveal of who the 10-year anniversary chapter is going to be about on May 22nd. While I'm editing this video, they might have already released what that's going to be, so if so, I'll throw it up on screen now, what the 10-year anniversary is going to be, and let's see if it's one of these on here. We'll go through my dream DVD license wish list. So let's start. Starting off with some honourable mentions though, to begin with. These aren't really like in order, but let's start, shall we? So first honourable mention is Hotline Miami. This is a game that I've seen recently, and I've seen people wanting it to come to Dead by Daylight. I think Hotline Miami would actually make a really good chapter in Dead by Daylight, like making Jacket the killer. I don't know what they do for survivors because I haven't personally played the game, but I've seen a lot of stuff about it and I do want to play it, and it is something I want to do on my second channel. Want to like record the entirety of Hotline Miami 1 and 2, and they have done collabs before. They've gone into Payday. I don't know if they've gone into anything else. I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, I think Hotline Miami would actually be a really good license to come to the game. Another honourable mention is a kind of a random one, but it's Death from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. If you have seen this movie, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I went to the cinema to see this movie, and Death in Puss in Boots, he was such a good villain. All the villains in that film, I would say, were pretty well done. Death was the best one they did. Death was the best one in that film. He was done so well, and obviously he would be the killer. I don't think you could do a survivor with this chapter if you were to add Death from Puss in Boots, aka Shrek. I don't think you would be able to do a survivor with this unless you have like a little cat running around, or like you make Puss in Boots taller, which would just look weird. But yeah, Death from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I think that would make a really good killer in Dead by Daylight. Like, he could have a lullaby similar to Huntress and Trickster and a few others, where it's literally his whistle, the death whistle from I really loved that movie. It was such a good film, and I would love Death to come to Dead by Daylight. I think that'd be really cool. And then moving on from that is just like a generic sort of type of genre, being internet horror / mascot horror. Now there is actually an internet horror section in here, but there is so many to choose from, and I wonder who I put for the internet horror bit. But there was so much to choose from that I decided to put a few of them in honourable mentions and kind of group them all together. So we have stuff like Jeff the Killer, Poppy Playtime, like really old internet horror stuff like Sonic.exe, which probably would never happen, Uncle Samsonite, if you know what that is, Vita Carnus, Baldi's Basics, who else, like Smile Dog, probably, just all these old classic internet / like mascot horror stuff from like this classic era, just taking stuff from them. Now, like SCP as well. Now, some of these would be very hard to do, and I don't know what you could do with them. That's why I just bunched them all up together in one list, just because I think all of these would be cool to have in the game. Because after FNAF, it's like clear that the modern audiences would be more familiar with some of these more like modern horrors than like some of the classic horrors. And I think just adding any of these into the game would be so good to add as well. And I kind of took inspiration from Pillar Chase 2, an ASIM game on Roblox, which Pillar Chase 2's whole theme, well, it isn't really that anymore. I don't really know what it's doing anymore, but its whole theme was that it was classic internet horror stuff, and that's kind of what I took the inspiration from to bunch all these guys up together, like Out Oni as well. But yeah, that's just another honourable mention, all like the internet horror / mascot horror characters that could work as killers. You could take survivors from these, for I think the majority of these would work as killers mainly. And then moving on to the final honourable mention, and that is Friday the 13th, is most likely going to be this 10-year anniversary chapter. There is rumours that it's going to be other things as well, but they are on this list, so I'll talk about them later. But Friday the 13th, everyone wants Jason coming to Dead by Daylight, and with the recent thing with like Multiverses, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Jason Universe, being able to put Jason in different media, games, being able to make TV shows, movies again and stuff like that, it's just a perfect time now for Jason to come at any time. They did confirm that Jason would be an anniversary chapter, and they wouldn't want to put him as like anything else. So what they would do is that if the 10th anniversary isn't Jason, then most likely either the 11th or the 12th anniversary will be Jason. It just has to be at this point. But yeah, that is it for the honourable mentions, and now let's actually move on to some of the other licenses I'd like to see. Starting off with a classic movie, pre-2000s, Jurassic Park / World. I think Jurassic Park / World would work really well. Now, there are leaks that apparently I'll just call it Jurassic Park. Actually, I'll just call it JPW for short, why not? But there is leaks that apparently JPW is actually going to be the anniversary chapter. Though, to be honest, the leaks I've seen, they're very... it's not really that trustworthy. But apparently that is one of the leaks. That is like one of the leaks for this coming up anniversary chapter. Is that it will be JPW. But what would I want to be the killer and survivor? Well, the killer would have to be a raptor. People have said T-Rex. Like even one of the devs said they'd want a T-Rex. That might work, but they'd have to heavily scale it down, and I think raptors are just like the most two iconic dinosaurs from the whole JPW series is the Velociraptors and the T-Rex. They are like the most iconic, I think. Maybe the Mosasaur as well, and the Spinosaurus from the whole franchise. But yeah, I think they're the most iconic to come to the game, and I think the Velociraptors would work the most. Like it could be two of them that you can maybe like control, and so it could be like Nemesis Zombies where you play as like the Alpha Raptor, and you have other raptors going around hunting down survivors and stuff. I think it would be cool. And then for survivors, Alan Grant could be one. I forgot the woman's name. There's the Jeff Goldblum character as well. Oh my god, I forgot the name. Hold up. Ellie Sattler, Ian Malcolm, Alan Grant. They could work well. Obviously, there's Owen Grady. Owen Grady. There is Owen Grady and Claire Deaning from the modern Jurassic World era. There's them as well. So we've got Alan Grant, Ian Malcolm. I literally just looked up a name. Something Sattler. And then obviously got Owen Grady and something Deaning. I actually just forgot. But yeah, they can work as survivors as well. You could actually do like the Indoraptor for killers. The Indominus Rex wouldn't work, and I think Indoraptor is what most people want, and apparently that is what the leaks say, is that the Indoraptor will apparently be the killer. How much you want to believe that, I don't know. That is it for classic movie. Now moving on to a modern movie, 2000s plus. I put A Quiet Place. Now this is because of the new Quiet Place game that released recently, which I kind of have started playing. I played like the first 5 minutes and then put it down to go do something else, and when I came back I was like, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that, and then now it's been a few days. Actually, it's been close to a few months and I haven't played the game since, but since then I've been like looking at characters and stuff. Obviously the Death Angel would be the killer for the chapter, that's obvious. An alien thing that uses sound. This could actually be really interesting, where like the Death Angel might not even be able to like see the entire map, but sees like the outlines of tiles and like players that are running and stuff. Like this could be the first killer where they're just 4.8 straight up, because the Death Angels are fast, they're really quick, and survivors have to rat in order to, like, it could be like Spirit in a way. Like imagine a mix of Spirit with like Xenomorph's tunnel footsteps. Like that would be cool. Like I don't even care about balancing. Would that be balanced? Would that be unbalanced? Don't know. Survivors probably have to crouch and walk everywhere. It could be like very interesting gameplay, like back and forth, where like aura perks just don't work on the Death Angels and stuff, and you have to like, it could be very cool. It could like spice up the gameplay a lot. As for the survivors, I literally did research before this video, I forgot. As for the survivors, Lee Abbott, Evelyn Abbott, they could work. They're like the mum and dad. There are the son and daughter as well, Regan Abbott, Marcus Abbott. I haven't actually watched the films. I've only just started playing the games, so I haven't actually like started watching the films. I've only like started playing the game, but I do want to get around to watching the film at some point. And honestly, I think the A Quiet Place franchise looks really good. I would want it in the game. And it's something that piques my interest. So yeah, that is it for modern movie. Now moving on to TV show, which I put Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, people have been asking this for ages now. It is very unlikely to happen because Scooby-Doo is a kids franchise, and I don't think the creators would want Scooby-Doo getting like his head popped off. No, not Shaggy. Wouldn't want Shaggy getting his head popped off by Grisoo or Scooby or any of the gang, Fred, Daphne, Velma and stuff like that. So I highly doubt Scooby-Doo will ever come, but I put it here because I would really want Scooby-Doo to come to the game. It's actually been on like surveys before, with like license surveys of what people want coming to the game. Scooby-Doo's been on there quite a lot before. I voted for it a few times, and I would think Scooby-Doo coming to the game would be really cool. I think they could do like Shaggy and Velma as like the two survivors, and have a legendary skin of Fred, a legendary skin of Daphne on them as well. I don't know what they'd do for Scooby. No idea what they'd do for Scooby-Doo. Maybe he would be a legendary skin you could throw on a survivor as well, or they could make it like a unique perk interaction where you could like summon Scooby to make him do something for you. I don't know though. But yeah, as for the killer, it'd probably have to be the Green Ghosts. That's like the most iconic one with like the chain shackles. There is Captain Cutler as well. I think that's the name of the scuba diver. I should have done more research before doing this, and I actually should have written the names down for what killer and survivors could there be. But if Scooby-Doo would have come to the game, I don't think they would add a killer. Actually, for all I know, it'd probably end up being a cosmetic collection at most, which would still be pretty cool, but I would probably prefer the actual characters being there. No, like, I don't know what they could do for killers. Probably have to either be the Green Ghost, there's the Captain Cutler, which I believe is like the scuba diver. I could be completely wrong with this. It's been ages since I watched those classic Scooby-Doo episodes. What else is there? What other like classic ghosts? Actually, I forgot. Oh yeah. Wait, isn't Captain Cutler the skeleton guy? I'm testing my knowledge here. Oh god. Captain Cutler's the he has a skeleton face, doesn't he? Or is that for someone else? A skeleton face wearing a spacesuit. I can't actually remember. I know there's the robot at like the fair, like the pier. There's a robot at the pier. Oh god, I forgot. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I'd want for a TV show edition would be Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo's been wanted for a while, and that's what I'd do. Now, moving on to classic video games, and I put Bioshock. At some point, I do plan on playing Bioshock. Maybe not on the channel, maybe not on the first channel, but I do maybe plan on playing it by myself. I've seen a full review for the first game. Obviously, Big Daddy would be the killer, and then for survivors, it could be the random-ass guy we play as throughout the first Bioshock game. I actually forgot his name. I don't even know if he had a name to begin with. Or there's that woman that I see constantly, so it could be her. Big Daddy probably has something to do with like the little sisters that run around and stuff. Like, I don't know what you do with it, but yeah, Big Daddy. And then that there will be stuff thrown up on screen for a lot of these because I just can't remember names. I'm into a lot of franchises, so trying to remember names from everything's quite difficult. But yeah, Bioshock would be pretty cool as a classic video game. I think it would work a lot in Dead by Daylight, and I know it's a heavily requested one that people want. So yeah, that would probably work. That's one people would want, and something that I'd probably want too when I actually get around to playing the games. Next up is modern video games. That's 2010 plus. I forgot to say classic video games is pre-2010s. I forgot to mention that, but now modern video games 2010 plus. I put Bendy and the Ink Machine. This one is a heavily requested one. Now there's actually things coming out that apparently that Bendy is going to collab with a video game. They have one video game collab that they're working on currently, and people are saying it's either Dead by Daylight or Fortnite, and then obviously there's Pillar Chase 2 as well, which that's been having a whole thing already where people have voted for what they want for what they want Bendy to go to for a collab, and the most popular one was Pillar Chase 2 in a poll that someone did. I don't even know if it was an official poll or not. It's been a whole situation. But yeah, Bendy and the Machine would be cool to have come Dead by Daylight, though if it came to Pillar Chase 2, that'd be cool as well. And Pillar Chase 2 is it's a good game. After that, I'm planning on making a video about the Pillar Chase 2 pre-code and stuff of me like playing it and just saying my thoughts on it. But yeah, Bendy and the Machine would be cool to come to Dead by Daylight. Would like it a lot, especially now that FNAF's here. And now we're moving on to, this is no more like classic, modern and stuff. This is just like generic, sort of like generic like genres and stuff, I guess. And the next one we have is internet horror. And this one is Slender Man. Slender Man is another one that apparently is not leaked, but it's heavily speculated that Slender Man will be the year 10 anniversary chapter. If so, P100ing him instantly. Slenderman is a classic internet horror character. He would probably work incredibly well in Dead by Daylight. I've seen concepts of how he could work within the game. I think Slenderman would make a really good addition. I'm not going to lie. Slenderman would be a really good addition to come to Dead by Daylight. And I would love to see him come to the game, especially for like an internet horror representation. I know stuff like internet horror, like I said, with like Jeff the Killer and stuff like that, and SCP, it's quite hard to get them in the game. So the closest thing we'd probably get to Slenderman coming into game is Marble Hornets. I think that's the name, with the operator, as he's called in that. That's the only way we'd probably be able to get him in the game. I actually haven't watched that myself, but it's Slenderman. So just any Slenderman coming into the game would be, I would love to see it. But yeah, now we're moving on to anime/manga, which I put Jujutsu Kaisen. After we got Ghoul, and obviously we have Attack on Titan back with a 2v8 and stuff, anime in the game is being more prominent, and I think it's only a matter of time before we get another anime collab, and I would love Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen isn't really horror, it's more action, but like it has horror elements to it. There's curses and everything like that, and I think people have said they want Mahito to be the killer for a JJK chapter. I don't think that would work. I'm an anime watcher, right? I don't read any of the mangas besides from like when people upload like, oh, manga chapter 234 is released for this thing, and I get recommended it, and I've got nothing else to watch. I'll be like, okay, I'll watch this. But I don't think Mahito returns. So I think for a JJK chapter, I would want Sukuna to be the killer. I don't think a survivor would work unless they added Yuji and maybe Nobara, maybe even Megami as like survivors. It could be like duo survivor maybe, though probably solo survivor. I don't expect them to add Satoru to it. Satoru would be a very interesting choice for a survivor. But it would probably have to be solo killer like they did for Tokyo Ghoul, and I would want Sukuna to be the killer. Like, I already have an idea for how one of his powers could work, where it's like a one-time use where you build up curse energy where you can pop a domain expansion 200. So when you gain enough energy, a little like 200 meter circle appears above you, and at any point you can tap control or whatever, like the power button is, to activate your domain expansion where it traps anyone inside of it, and it lasts for 5 seconds. And so I already came up with like a good power concept for it. But yeah, basically, as soon as you gain enough curse energy, enough power, you can pop a domain expansion that is 200 meters wide, traps anyone inside that 200 meters. So Sukuna would probably be busted on stuff like Midwich and Treatment Theatre, just saying. Where you can pop the domain expansion, anyone trapped inside takes damage. It lasts for like 5 seconds, and a person takes a damage a second. So realistically, there's 8 health states you have to get through, because if you hit them once and you hit them again and down them. So if it lasts for 5 seconds, deals a health state 1 second to a survivor. That means it could down a survivor, down another survivor, then injure another. If you manage to get all 4 inside, it would make for such like a unique power, like a one-time use. You pop domain expansion, Malevolent Shrine on survivors, and then like they're just trapped in there. It lasts for 5 seconds, and like, yeah, I think that would be cool. That would be really cool to have. And like, you could have an iridescent add-on which decreases the range to like 154, which that's a reference to like the anime, by the way, where Sukuna shrunk it down to like 154 to have it all concentrated on Maharaga to deal more damage to him. Yeah, you'd be shrunk down by like to 154 meters instead of 200 meters, but it lasts like double the length for the last 10 seconds. Still a large range. Even then, you could half it to just 100, but it lasts longer or something like that. So instead of 5, it lasts 10 seconds. Like, that'd be something really cool, and I would love Sukuna to be added. Like, I've really gotten into JJK, especially with season 3, and I think it'd make a really good chapter. I think that's the most I've yapped about any of these, to be honest. So moving on to literacy, like novel, books, comics, which I put Venom or Carnage. You can do either. I highly doubt Venom or Carnage will come to the game, but I think just having a symbiote would be sick. We kind of already have what the gameplay would look like with Ghoul, with Ken Kaneki sliding around and stuff, but like, I don't really know how Venom would work, but I think just adding Venom or Carnage to the game would work. Venom's my anti-hero now, so it'd probably have to be Carnage. But yeah, Carnage would make a really sick killer, like doing different weapons and stuff out of like the symbiote. Next up is music. Well, I put Suburban. We already have Iron Maiden, Slipknot, and I think we should add another kind of like horror music artist in there, and I put Suburban. If you ever listen to any of Suburban's music, like Cradles, Circuit, like any of those songs, it's quite very heavily horror themed, especially when you watch the music videos, and I think Suburban would work really well. It'd probably be a cosmetic collection, which means the lady that the artist, I don't actually know his real name, but that the artist Suburban dresses up as and stuff in the music video would probably end up being like an artist skin or whatever. But yeah, Suburban as a music collab would be nice. And then I put real life celebrity. I put Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves was heavily requested, especially when Nicolas Cage came to the game, and I just think it makes a lot of sense for Keanu Reeves to come to Dead by Daylight. You could do other horror actors as well, but like they play already like iconic characters, and you wouldn't want them in the game, and then you'd want another version of their character in the game. Like it wouldn't make a lot of sense. But I think Keanu Reeves would make a lot of sense coming to Dead by Daylight. I think it'd be a good actor to add after Nicolas Cage. So yeah, I think Keanu Reeves would be really nice. And then moving on to a sequel chapter, which obviously I put Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's obviously is my favourite franchise of all time. It's like number one ever favourite franchise of all time. I love Five Nights at Freddy's. I would want it to get a sequel chapter, and they're already in talks getting a sequel chapter. Like there was that whole thing in Dorco's live stream where Scott said that they're currently in the works for a sequel, and he said that's a 2, not a 3. So we're getting a sequel to something. It's either FNAF World 2, FNAF Ultimate Custom Night 2, FNAF Security Breach 2, obviously Dead by Daylight Chapter 2. We are getting something. I would want it to be FNAF World 2 probably, or FNAF Security Breach 2, but Dead by Daylight Chapter 2 is also up there. I would want a sequel chapter for Five Nights at Freddy's with obviously like the next, because Springtrap was the main big bad all the way up until UCN, and now we have the Mimic being like the next big bad in the franchise. And I would want the Mimic to come to Dead by Daylight as well, and then we might finally get an updated cosmetic collection where we get Foxy Blight, maybe like Vanny Legion, a Visceral skin for twins of Nightmare Freddy where Victor gets turned into a little Freddle or something, like anything like that. Like it might finally bring that to the game. So I would love if Five Nights at Freddy's got a sequel chapter in Dead by Daylight. It would be so cool. I love FNAF, and I think it would work a lot. And now moving on to the next section, being non-horror, which I put The Boys. Sorry about that. My voice was killing and I need to go get a drink. I should really start bringing water bottles up here with me when I start recording one of these. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying, a non-horror IP to come to the game, The Boys. The Boys works incredibly well, and this could be a 2 survivor, 1 killer. The killer obviously being Homelander. Homelander would be so good to add to the game, just a psychopathic superhero coming to the game. Hell, I want that as an original chapter. I want a superhero killer as like an original chapter. And if we got that in the form of The Boys, that would be incredible to have in Dead by Daylight. Having The Boys come into the game, and then like the 2 survivors being Huey Campbell, Billy Butcher being the 2 survivors, and then like legendary skins for Frenchie, Mother's Milk, Kamiko, Starlight or Annie. Yeah, The Boys would be a really cool non-horror IP to come to Dead by Daylight. I think it would work incredibly well, and I would want The Boys as a non-horror IP to come to Dead by Daylight, and I know other people have talked about it as well. Like, it would work so well as an IP to Dead by Daylight. But now we're moving on to obscure horror, which I put Roblox. Specifically Roblox Doors. Now, obscure horror is meant to be like horror that isn't really thought about a lot, but it is still horror. Very similar to non-horror and stuff. So I decided to put a Roblox game down, and I put Doors. I think Doors in Dead by Daylight would be quite cool. Now it would be a killer only. Like, Roblox Doors I think is a really good game. I think Roblox Doors is a good game, and I think for a Roblox horror IP, it does that incredibly well. So I would want it to come to Dead by Daylight. I already made this entire video is meant to be like a little sequel to that other Dead by Daylight video I did, where like different franchises I want coming to Dead by Daylight, where I did like Minecraft, The Boys, and I put Doors on there as well. And I don't think it's changed. I would want either Seek or Figure to come to Dead by Daylight as a obscure horror, Roblox horror IP. Either Seek or Figure coming to Dead by Daylight. It would be really cool to see. It would be really cool to see. I would want it to come to Dead by Daylight, and I think it can actually work really well. Like I said in that other video, little Jeff's shops placed around the map where survivors can grab crucifixes off them, and they can use it against, similar to flame turrets, against Seek or Figure, whoever the killer is. Seek, I think Seek would work better because of his minions. He can send a minion out to patrol a certain area, similar to Knight's Guards. He could have the hands or something that he could summon. He could place it as a little trap. Any survivor that walks near it, the hand slaps them, deals a health state. Survivors have to get rid of it by using the crucifix. The crucifix respawns back after 10 seconds, so survivors can keep grabbing them and using it against the enemies. It would I think it would work really well in Dead. It'd probably be a bit buggy because AI, but and an AI in Dead by Daylight, like Nemesis Zombies, Snug, it probably would be, and obviously Knight's Guards. It'd probably be a bit buggy, but yeah, I think it would work really well. I think it would work insanely well. Doors would. Other than that, that is my entire list for DBD licenses I would want to come to Dead by Daylight. I did this video a little bit differently. I didn't just record one section, stop recording, then recorded another section. I just kind of kept going with it, which actually turned out a bit better, even if my voice did go hoarse and I had to go get a drink. These licenses I would want to come to Dead by Daylight the most, and if they ever did come, I would P100 them instantly. I would, all these licenses that I've mentioned, I think out of all of these, the ones that I'd want the most would probably be Jurassic Park / World, or JPW as I've come up with. So Jurassic Park / World, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Slenderman, JJK, obviously Final Fantasy Freddy sequel, The Boys and Doors, and then some for honourable mentions would be Friday the 13th, Death from Puss in Boots, and stuff like that. Some of these I did put on here because I want to try and get into their franchises and stuff like that. So I want to get into a Quiet Place. I want to get into BioShock. I want to check them out because they seem interesting to me. So I put them on here as stuff I want to see, because I might end up really liking these franchises, which from what I've seen from BioShock and from what I've seen from A Quiet Place, especially that game I played, which I've played the first 5 minutes of it, and I haven't played it since. I got to get back to playing that at some point. I really want to try and get into these franchises, and I think I would really enjoy them and would want to see them in Dead by Daylight. I didn't talk about any maps. I mainly only talked about killers and survivors, but BioShock could have a Rapture map, possibly. Bendy and the Ink Machine could be the studio. Slenderman could bring this creepy forest with loads of fog in it, so you can barely see. I don't think JJK would bring anything. Finance of Freddy's Part 2. I don't know, it could bring another map. It could bring the Pizzaplex map, or they rework the Pizzeria map or something like that. Friday the 13th, Camp Crystal Lake. The boys could bring Vought Tower, like the Sevens Tower. But yeah, that is everything. That is all the DBD licenses I want to come to the game. That is my wish list. I will be keeping this here, so every time one of these does come to the game. Now, this isn't all of them. I would like a lot more, but this is what I chose with these different like licenses and stuff. That's why I did honourable mentions and everything. So yeah, these are the licenses I'd want to come to Dead by Daylight. But yeah, other than that, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. This was just me making a quick little video where I went over DBD license wish list. Obviously, while I'm editing this, if they've revealed what the 10-year anniversary chapter will be, I will throw it up on screen now again. I know I threw it up at the beginning of the video, but I'll throw it up now. Other than that, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. The next third channel video will probably be a while. After this, it probably won't be for a long time, but you know, I will try and work on it slowly but surely and try and get it out there. But yeah, other than that, I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.